The Azerbaijan Grand Prix was, let's be honest, incredibly boring. As a result, our expectations were already low coming into the second race this weekend, Indycar's round at Barber Motorsports Park, or to give it its official name, the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. Children who, given it's Alabama, are probably inbred. Coming into the fourth round of the season, Marcus Ericsson led the championship from Pato O'Ward, the Mexican still scrambling to pick up his reputation after leaving it in the Long Beach tyre barriers. What chaos would he and the rest of the grid get up to this time round? Well, hey there guys, I'm Will. Welcome to FP1 and the comedy review for the Grand Prix of Alabama. So if you're new here, this is usually the section of the video where we talk about any news there's been prior to the weekend. This time, however, all the news comes from the world of Twitter and the fallout after the Grand Prix of Long Beach. After the Juncos cars got caught up at the restart, the Argentine fans of Agustin Canapino tried to rip Calamirot a new one, to the point where Indycar themselves had to put out a statement on the matter. All I'm going to say is it's not the first time the Argentinians have overreacted with the Brits, is it? Besides that, nothing of note has happened in the last couple of weeks, meaning it's time to move on to first practice at Barber Motorsports Park. As you'll see, this ended up being quite action-packed, Pato O'Ward kicking us off by practicing his technique on the advertising boards around the circuit. Helio Castroneves, meanwhile, found the high point of his season as he launched his AutoNation car off the curbs. That sent him through the gravel and into the wall, the entire crash pretty much summing up his career. As Grosjean caught fire again, attention turned to the Rahal Letterman Lanigan cars, Graham Rahal being held up by teammate Jack Harvey, this incident making Rahal so angry he momentarily joined the Third Reich. Is that going to get me in trouble? Probably, let's just move on. Will Power was next to find the wall, the reigning champion skidding through the gravel in the closing moments of the session, topped by Scott McLaughlin in the number 3 car. Practice 2 at least was slightly less eventful, though Castroneves was still able to have his incident, don't worry about that. Rookie Benjamin Peterson continued his quest of investigating the runoffs at each track we visit this year, while Herter and O'Ward were busy scaring their respective mechanics with these saves. P2 ended then with 2021 winner Palou on top, as Indy geared up for qualifying. That said, championship leader Marcus Ericsson didn't seem to get that memo. He was the big name knocked out in round 1. Colton Herter found himself out of the fast 12 as well, and shout out to Agustin Canapino. The Argentinian seemed stoked about his qualifying effort. Doesn't change the fact he finished 22nd though. As Armstrong made himself a new friend, it was time to progress to round 2. Alex Palou setting the benchmark early on, Romain Grosjean soon displacing him as attention turned to those on the bubble. Scott Dixon looked under threat from Will Power as the session came to an end. That was until Power got himself lost at the hairpin, with Rinus VeeKay celebrating his 50th IndyCar start with some lawn mowing. That left us with just 6 cars to decide pole position, and this final session was really all about one man, Jimmy Johnson. No, sorry, it was Romain Grosjean. The Frenchman picked up P1 award number 2 on the year, making us all wonder how his weekend would come crashing down this time. Before we find that out, I do want to quickly take the time to thank you all again for all the recent support on these IndyCar videos. I honestly never expected them to do this well, so a huge hello to all the new subscribers, and a special shout out to those of you who've now begun to support me as a patron or channel member. It's completely optional of course, but if you do want to get involved, all the links you need are down in the description below. Right, now I've finished begging for money, let's get on to the race, shall we? Rain overnight presented us with a green track ahead of race day. That meant we were due a bit of a crazy one. Exhibited well in the Indy Next support race, this event needing to be red flagged because a recovery vehicle got stuck in the mud. I swear to you I'm not making that up. As the main event got underway, Grosjean comfortably led from P1, as Palou and O'Ward sparred for second place. Big props to the McLaren driver here for not wiping anyone out this time round. Now into second, O'Ward would make an attempt on the lead, Grosjean responding with the IndyCar version of the middle finger as he ran the Mexican out wide. Palou was next to have a go, with Grosjean again able to just about stay in front, in what was quickly turning out to look like a race-winning drive. Can you see where this is going? We'll return to that later, as the cars were now all focusing on strategy, most of the field trying their hardest to hold it out to lap 30 before making their first pit stop. And if trying so hard but to no avail could be summed up in any of the drivers on the current grid, that would be Colton Herter, the 26 Cambridge Honda having to bail 2 laps earlier than planned, and I hope you enjoy seeing that yellow livery machine, as that's basically the last we saw of Herter all afternoon. The early pit stop phases put O'Ward and Dixon on track together for the first time since the Mexican role played as a missile last time out in Long Beach. To everyone's surprise, however, they managed not to wipe each other off the face of the planet this weekend. O'Ward, being well behaved, sure limited the number of cautions we were going to see, and it was a strange race for IndyCar as even Devlin Di Francesco was able to stay on the black stuff. At least we could turn to Stingray Rob then to spice things up as his car ground to a halt on lap 38. That caused a flurry of action on pit road, those who hadn't pit yet trying to get in before the caution came out. That didn't put Romain Grosjean in the best of positions. He still maintained the lead, but now had Scott McLaughlin on fresh rubber right behind him. And we all know how that turned out last time. The race would restart on lap 43 with Grosjean on the defensive, which to his credit he was able to do very nicely. Though when he came into pit, Scotty Mack was able to push in clean air to attempt the overcut. While we all waited to see how that would pan out, we got to witness Joseph Newgarden, who'd found himself royally screwed by Stingray's caution, getting mugged off by anyone and everyone. It was so bad even Alex Rossi made it by. We'll return to Grosjean though, when McLaughlin looked to have initially made the overcut work in his favour. Cold Firestones were about to bite him on the arse, however, treating us to a fantastic lap-long battle that I really can't make any jokes about. Besides saying it's nice to see Grosjean's overtaking has come on since 2012. Also, as a message to anyone on Twitter who tried to say this wasn't fair racing, please do us all a favour and jump out of a window. Things were looking all good for Grosjean then, until we got to see how much push to pass the Frenchman had left. If you're not catching my drift, I'll give you a clue. It's the same number of fans Santino Ferrucci has. That was enough to give McLaughlin a fresh lease of life, as we were set up for a thrilling scrap with 21 laps remaining. This thrilling scrap would just last 2 tours, however, as it was time for Grosjean to throw it away, the Andretti driver going sightseeing at the hairpin, and practically allowing Scotty Mack to slot into the race lead. In Grosjean's defence though, I don't think he would have been able to hold on anyway. As the number 3 car sailed off into the distance, the only thing that might have saved Road Gro was a caution period. That yellow never came, but we sure came close to one when Simon Pagenaud, or Simon Pagenaud if you were listening to the UK commentary, nearly sent Ilott skyward after the Brit threw one down the inside. Maybe someone needs to remind Simon or Simon or whoever that he's not trolling on iRacing anymore. There were no such issues for McLaughlin, however. He came across the line to make it 4 different winners in 4 races, Grosjean holding on to second after willpower came out of nowhere in the closing stages. Another race then, and another missed opportunity for Romain Grosjean. You've got to start wondering what god he must have pissed off in the off-season, but you'd like to think, given the pace of that Andretti car, that first win can't be too far away now. I'm of course always curious to hear your thoughts on the race, so let me know those down in the comments below. We're into the month of May now, meaning the Indy 500 isn't far around the corner. We've still got the road course to contend with first though, and you can bet I'll be covering that here on the channel, so be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss that, and any of my videos in between. A final thank you of course has to go to my patrons and channel members, and again if you want to get involved in any of that you can head down to the links in the description below. But for now that's all from me, so I'll see you soon with another video, but until then, have a good one.